16 minutes to 2 o'clock. It is car feature time on 702 afternoons. And in our car feature for today, we're talking about bumper repair and vehicle safety and understanding the connection. We want to hear from all of you. 011 883 702 in the WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. In the building, we are joined by SAMBRA, which is the South African Motor Body Repairers Association. We have the Vice Chair, Ravi, and we have Juan Hanekom, who is National Director, also friend of the show, joining us in studio. Gents, how are you doing? Welcome.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you for having us over.
Thank you so much. I am so curious, and maybe you can start the connection. I'll start with you, Juan. Where does the connection come between bumper repair and vehicle safety? And maybe let's be clear so we are all aligned. When we refer to the bumper, which part of the car is it?
So, Relebogile, I think it's maybe better if Ravi takes that question. He is one of our members, and he is quite the, technical expert. And this is why he's here with us today.
I love that. So you're not just a vice chair.
I wouldn't say the technical expert either.
So share with us what a bumper is.
Okay, as in motor cars, the bumper, front, rear, the front end and the rear end. These are the most common parts that goes through an accident.
Yes.
It also, it does not make the car look pretty at the same time. It's there for a reason.
Yes.
It has a lot of safety features on the car that help protect the occupants and the driver. What are the occupants and the driver? What features are there? The ADAS system, the sensors, you've got the airbag sensors. All these things go and hang behind the bumpers. These help protect the occupants. If the bumper get damaged, those sensors most probably get also damaged in it, or the clips break off and they hang loose. So it does not become just a bumper smash anymore.
Yes, and I'm glad you're explaining it that way, because I think I've described bumpers as like the lower lip or the front lip and things like that, without us being fully aware of what its purpose is and what can be covered. I'm just wondering, Juan, what are some of the other things about the bumper that we need to be aware of?
So maybe if we're expanding that, we need to understand that, and I say this, I think every time I come into the station, that cars today are not like they used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago, right?
Which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes not so good.
100%, and exactly what Ravi was saying now. Your car 20, 30 years ago was literally just either a steel beam or a plastic piece there that had very little to do with the safety of the vehicle. You were in a collision. Once that collision took place, the entire force of that accident was transferred onto you as the driver. Nowadays, vehicles have crumple zones, right? And when
crumple zones?
Crumple zones. Right?
What is that?
So when you actually are in a collision, or a frontal collision, rear collision, the vehicle is designed to brake in a certain way. So if you had to take like a Coke can and you had to squash it, these things are designed to squash in a specific way that it takes the force off of you and places it into the vehicle, which obviously makes the vehicle more damaged.
But it protects you.
That's the key difference, yeah. So
you just made me think about something. Sorry, I think about those old Mercs. I wouldn't know the name right now, but the ones that are so solid that they could bump into a truck and the truck would be damaged. So does that mean that hardness, the car wasn't necessarily built to absorb the force? It would be transferred onto you.
100% correct.
I got you.
So you're shifting now the point of damage from the person onto the vehicle. And this is exactly what Ravi was talking about now. Now we take it further into to a modern vehicle. One, the vehicle is able to crumple. But in that bumper, it's not only there now as a feature piece or something that's protecting the vehicle, but it's protecting you in other ways now with advanced features like the sensors that Ravi was talking about. You've got your lane keeping assist and all these other funny things there. You've got park distance control, sometimes cameras, sometimes radar systems. All of these fit into this piece of plastic. And now you have a collision, and what happens?
So let me ask a question. When it comes to the force being absorbed where it's absorbed, what does that mean for us lay folks in terms of what to look out for? I mean, I saw now there's a trend which says search the crash test of the vehicle you're driving, and they would look and see what happened. Knowing what now you are sharing, what should we be looking out for? Because maybe what we are seeing is it looks like the car's a complete mess, but the person's actually a lot more protected. And thank you to the person saying, the Merc you are talking about is the Merc 123 in the models before that. Is that the one?
Yes.
The hard ones. Okay, thank you. So the concrete ones. But what should we be looking out for, particularly in context to the conversation we are having?
So, Ravi, would you like to take this?
Okay, if you're looking at what I'm trying to understand is you are trying to see what we're looking at on the damages.
Yes, so when we look at a crash test for a vehicle, based on what you've shared now, that maybe you're seeing the damage on the car, but not realizing that more damage on the car is actually better for the person. And maybe just for us to be aware, what should be happening with the crash dummy? Is it called a crash dummy? Is it still? I'm not sure. Yeah. Maybe I'm not being politically correct. Apologies to the crash dummy.
It's still a crash test dummy. You are safe.
Okay, the telltale signs on that will be your bumper will be hanging. If you know the bumper is held by bumper slides, all plastic stuff, bumper clips. These, in most probably, will be broken off. They will be misaligned. That will be one of the biggest telltale signs. The bumper will be misaligned in comparison to the gaps on the bonnet, on the fenders. All will be completely off. This alone will tell you, listen, that car has been to a front smash. Let's work on the front end of the car. Next step is you need to inspect it, what's behind it, and see what the damages are. The bumper, the way it's made in the new cars are bumps in up to 10 Ks, it will just pop out. And in most cases, there will be no damages. Once you go over 10 Ks per hour, that's when the damage is there. You get behind the bumper, there's a bumper foam. Juan spoke about the crumple zones. That helps absorb the damages on the car as well. That bumper foam get damaged. It needs to be renewed, but you can't see it without the bumper being taken off. And behind the bumper foam, there is something called a bumper reinforce. That is the steel bar that goes across it. That is part of the crumple zone that Juan spoke about. That crumple zone helps the chassis legs to move down and the engine not to end up inside the car, which protects the occupants.
But so I think to that point, and I just maybe want to add there, to your question though, when you're looking at those NCAPE and those crash reports, if the engine is sitting there next to the driver, there's probably a problem. The crumple zone helps to make sure that the engine doesn't sit up there in the cab with you.
I got you. Sorry, you worded it so perfectly. I get exactly what you're saying. And again, we've touched on this before, that maybe as consumers, we look at style and aesthetics before we truly get into the details of the safety features and interrogate. And yes, there's certain brands that they'll be, for this many years, it's been the safest brand in the world. I want to give an equal opportunity for discrimination and praise, because of course the conversations I've seen happening on social media where they're speaking about specific crash tests, specific vehicles that are very popular on the road. Are there any vehicles that you would say, or brands that are really getting it right, and brands that you think maybe could be doing better? And if that is the case, what does that mean for the manufacturing? Or does the law need to change? Because I'm sure there are certain vehicles on the road that you're like, if people knew.
Well, I think this is a difficult one to take a look at. Remember, you've got everything's on a spectrum, and I think everything's only as good as by the metric you use to measure it. So if you compare a car today to a car 20 years ago, there's going to be a completely different standard that was at play in both situations. But like we said earlier, a car 20, 30 years ago didn't have a crumple zone. and cars today do. And then we have to also understand there's different cars at different price points. So it's difficult to say who's getting it 100% right. There are some people, some brands that are doing some exceptional work.
Yes.
And there's others that are really trying to be there for the consumer from a price point perspective, putting things that are in place that make the vehicle viable on the road. But you also have to understand, if you're buying a vehicle right at the bottom end of the financial spectrum, you're going to be making sacrifices. So there's a trade-off between affording a vehicle and being able to and having all the safety features that you'd expect on something that's on the top of the line.
Do you think that a lot of focus is placed on things like airbags and things like that, without the focus being on what, the connection between the bumper and safety features?
Well, I suppose if you take a look at the current market environment, right? If you take a look at the consumer base that you had a couple of years back, it was very loyal. You had typically what your person would call upgraders. So if you were driving the latest, call it the Ford or a Toyota or whatever brand it might be, you'd essentially every couple of years buy the brand new version of the same thing, right? You weren't looking really at the features because you had trust in the brand. Nowadays, your consumer mix is something completely slightly different. You don't have the same degree of brand loyalty. The user or the consumer is a lot more pragmatic. They're looking for features. And those features aren't always the safety features. They're looking for the bright and shinies, the
CarPlay,
the bigger 52-inch.
Oh my gosh! Listen, those laptop screens in the car, 52-inch LED screen in the car.
It belongs in your lounge, not your car. But this is the way things are going, and this is the type of things. I climbed into another car the other day. I'm not going to mention the brand name now. But they'd had a button on the steering wheel that you could push, and the screen actually turned from a portrait to landscape. And I'm like, this is amazing, but why?
Because I always wondered, does it not encourage you to want to watch content in your car while you're driving?
Well, it's supposedly not. You're not able to do it, but come on, software.
So let me then ask on your side, Ravi, what are the biggest pointers you want to leave all of the listeners with?
If you do meet an accident or a bumper bash, that's what we are talking about, is inspect your car properly. Make sure everything is fine. If you are not sure, take it to a body repairer. He most probably will charge you an hour's labor to inspect it for you. And if there's damages, notify your insurance company and claim via your insurance company. Yes, because if you think you're going to pay cash for it, but if one of those sensors are damaged, it's not a simple thing of just taking some paint and putting over the bumper. You got to do diagnostics on the car, recalibration, all these things. And the only way you can get this done is you got to take the car to, for instance, if the guy is approved to repair that car's specific model, you got to take that car to that specific repairer. For instance, let's talk about a Mercedes. Take it to a Mercedes-Benz approved repairer, not to a non-approved. The Mercedes-Benz approved repairer has the specific training on that car.
Juan, and what would you like to leave listeners with just as a final parting shot in this conversation?
Yes, I just maybe want to extend on what Ravi was saying now. Not only do those types of repairers have the skills necessary, but they've got the equipment as well. Remember, if you have a bumper with the sensors in it, and your one sensor is looking left and the other sensor is looking right, and instead of forward like it's supposed to, that thing's not going to be picking up the lanes on the road. It's not going to be picking up the car in front of you, and you're going to have a mess coming out of it. So take it to the people that are equipped to repair it, or have somebody look at it afterwards. Okay.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, gents. You can always search up the South African Motor Body Repairers Association, SAMBRA. They're always chatting safety and obviously uniting the industry for everybody to be getting together. And that is our car feature for today.
This came